Okay, here we have another 1978 talking Batmobile. You'll have seen my previous video where I look at the voice box inside one of these and see how we can make it work. This one is come from eBay, cost just over £10 and the postage was free. I'm just going to put a battery in it. It feels really sticky when I press the button, so I'm not assuming it's going to work. So you can hear that the button depresses. Doesn't really spring back, and you can hear that the motor is whirring. However, we're not getting any speech, so we need to, using our trusty screwdriver, open up the Batmobile and see what's going on inside. Materially, this example is quite dusty and dirty. You can see if you look at the top, there's lots of old dirt stuck in the grooves. However, the chrome across this band across the top is in good condition, although it's worn a little bit on the back. The chrome on the front bumper is all alright, and we've got in situ the jets at the back, which are all okay. Sometimes these top cockpits get some bleached. In this case, it's okay, and we've got chrome retained on all of the wheels, which is good. You'll see that there is a bit of spring with the bodywork coming away from the base, which I don't know whether you can see there. So when you press this button hard, the actual bottom of the Batmobile comes away. So I'll open her up, see what's in, and see if we can't make her better. I've taken these 3 screws out of the base of this voice box here that was attaching it into the bottom of this Batmobile. Just sits in there quite nicely like that. Something definitely the matter with this, because it won't stop even when I'm depressing the switch or trying to push the disc up at the bottom. It is possible that the spring's shot. So there we go, everything seems to be in place in there. I don't know whether it's possible to see the record spinning, which it is, but she's not talking, so we need to do something about that. Okay, you can see the top of here. As you've heard, the motor works. The stylus and needle are present, that pin's in place, and you can't see it against this backdrop. I'm away from home at the minute, which is why that's not too clear, but your spring's present, and you've got good contact on the terminals. That base spring feels a little bit stiff, but it's still, is it providing anything? Good question. It seems to be. And there you go. So first problem, which we've looked at before, is if that spring's missing, it creates an issue, and looking in there, that's the case. So this record doesn't have the ability to spring back up, which is why the switch, when it was pressed, was staying running. That's interesting. I've also taken the lid off here, and I can see by looking inside there that this diaphragm here has become very slightly or extremely dented. So that either needs a replacement diaphragm, which is quite easy to do using an old drinking cup, or it is knackered, or it could be flattened out. I've tried boiling one of these before and it ruins it, so word of advice, don't do that. So it's fixable. It's reasonably easy to fix. However, it's not going to be a fast fix. So there you can see that dent on that diaphragm, and I'm asking myself the question, is the needle getting stuck on that? So leave it with me. Okay, I've popped this back together now, so when you press this down, you've got that, but because there's no spring in it, it's not engaging. But you can see the base, or the bottom bit of this record turntable here. So if you press it, then if we replicate what the spring's doing, which is applying a bit of upward force, So what we need to do now, and if you've seen one of my previous videos, you'll see it's been done. It's basically easy to do with a spring. It's basically easy to do using a spring from a spring-loaded pen. So whilst that's not perfect, I also repositioned that so the dent that's in it is nowhere near the travel path of the record. So that looked knackered. Someone's clearly had a go at fixing it. So one of the screws that held this top section on is quite clearly definitely a non-original screw. The other one's missing. So I suspect at some point someone's been trying to effect a repair on this, and they're the ones that have taken the spring out and caused the damage to that diaphragm. However, overall it works and you get quite a good sound out of it. The next thing to look at is the state of this car and the bodywork. That hopefully shows up the dust and decay that's on it a little bit more. So that's basically where we are. Okay, here is the finished Batmobile that I had when I was on holiday. This cost me £10. So if you remember, the speech disc was sticking because it had no spring in it. I've used the pen trick, taken a spring out of a pen, put it on the axle of the turntable, and now so there you go. And so that speech is working perfectly. I've put some decals on the car so you can see the front and then you can do the side. I've also put some polish on it and tried to fix up and make that bodywork a little bit better than it already did. It's not perfect, it's far from an ideal car, but it works. I was thinking about redoing this chrome on there and then thought better of it. Don't really need to, so why should I? So there we go. There is the completed 1978 or 1979 Palitoy talking Batmobile.